Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, December 17th. Investors will parcel through earnings and economic data today as they anticipate the Fed's latest move. To kick off the week, stock ended mixed. The Nasdaq notched a record-setting winning session yesterday, climbing 247 points, or nearly 1.25%. The S&P 500 also closed in the green, adding 22 points, or 0.38%. The Dow closed in the red for the eighth session in a row, giving up 110 points, or 0.25%. Bill, let's get into Tuesday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are in the red. We're down 0.45% in the pre-market. This is the day that we start the FOMC meeting. On the Tuesday, the day ahead of the FOMC meeting, markets typically fall down. They typically trip up a little bit. So I'm not really surprised to see this weakness this morning. This morning we also get the retail sales report for November. That's due out before the opening. Tomorrow morning we got earnings from Toro, Berkshire Holdings, JBL, and General Mills. Pfizer is expected to release their 2025 guidance this morning. Meta's out there saying Threads has over 100 million daily active users. I see President-elect Trump is going to be meeting with Netflix Co CEO today. Congress is on the tape. You know, they remain at an impasse on that continuing resolution bill. I still think that will get passed, but it's going to be down to the wire as normal because that's how they work in Congress. But, you know, we're taking a look at the action over in Europe this morning. We're showing the DAX. The DAX has turned from green to red. The DAX is now down 18 points, or 0.09%. The FTSE, holding lower, down, 0.8%, or 66 points. And the CAC is actually higher by 0.1%. The thing about France is that the French National Assembly yesterday approved a special law that would allow the government to maintain core state functions in absence of a budget, kind of like our continuing resolution bill that we have to get passed here. So operations are going to continue as normal. They passed the bill late yesterday. Then we're looking at Asia last night. And Asia was mostly red. We're looking at the Nikkei down 0.24%. Autos and financials were weak, but really, we got monetary policy meetings, so I'm not surprised to see Asia move a little lower. Hong Kong, the Hang Seng, the Hang Seng fell 0.48%. There's some weakness in techs and in biotech stocks as well. China dropped 0.73%. Weakness in consumer and software stocks, and people are kind of looking over to the Bank of China decision that's later this weekend, the loan prime rate. That could be interesting. And then we'll keep turning our attention over to oil, and oil is showing losses. We're down over 1% this morning. The oil traders remain concerned about China's forward demand. They're really concerned about that. And today after the bell, we get the weekly stockpile estimates for last week. So that could be that could create a little volatility. That could be market moving a news story that comes out at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, as you shared with us, this is the day before the Fed's latest decision on monetary policy. Stocks are trading off this morning, but we're going to be watching the data and information here in order to continue to look for opportunities. You mentioned a couple of economic reports, and we will get to those in just a moment. But before we get there, we will turn to earnings action. Bill, give us a rundown of what we should be watching when it comes to earnings.
Yeah, there's no real earnings that came out last night or this morning. But tomorrow morning we got Birkenstock Holdings coming out. That's ticker BIRK, Boy India Richard Kilo. Their EPS is 28 cents. Expected move is 10.64%. We also get J-Bill, ticker JBL, John Boy Larry. Their EPS is $1.87. Expected move is 9.15%. And General Mills, ticker GIS, Grace India Sam. Their EPS is $1.22 with an expected move of 3.66%, Emily.
And now to economic events, a couple of reports here ahead of, everybody watching the latest from the Fed tomorrow. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of economic events?
Before the bell this morning, we get retail sales, and that comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then at 9:15 a.m. we get the industrial production. For retail sales, the expectations are pointing to a 0.5% increase, which would be the highest, which would be higher than October. October's data came in at 0.4%. So, expectations for retail sales today are positive. Listen, the market really is kind of awaiting that Fed decision. The expectations are for the Fed to lower interest rates by 25 basis points, and the real key will be in that dot plot where they're going to be lowering the number of rate cuts for 2025. I mean, they were at 1 full percentage point for 2025. Now there's talk about them moving rates lower by 0.5% or 0.75%. But we'll have to wait and see. That data will be out tomorrow afternoon. And that's all what I have for you in terms of economic data today, Emily.
And in terms of that data, Bill, you're looking for that announcement. You're looking for those comments from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, and you're looking for that dot plot. And in order to get that single snapshot all at once, you have your NewsWare. So you're able to gather that information very quickly. You also gather your earnings reports from NewsWare, and you also keep track of other types of news and events and data and information, things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, catalyst calls. You're also able to get a picture of stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 23 lower and 6 higher. I'm looking at my FANG stocks. I'm seeing some positive action in Google and Tesla this morning. Everything else is trading slightly off. I'm not too worried about it. Apple, or not Apple, Amazon, ticker AMZN, stocks trading lower by 0.5%. Teamster Union in Illinois is going to be joining the New York City workers in a work stoppage, apparently. Meta Platforms, Mark Zuckerberg came out and he said that Threads now has more than 100 million daily active users and more than 300 million monthly active users. Wow, they really came off the ground. That really is positive. Stocks trading a little lower this morning, but I wouldn't be surprised if this news article makes it turn around. Netflix, President-elect Trump is scheduled to meet with Netflix Co CEO Ted Sanderson today at the Mar-a-Lago Resort. That could be interesting. Remember, Ted Sanderson was giving money to the Democratic campaigns. So him, that's another tech CEO titan trying to make nice with the incoming administration. So that's kind of positive. You're looking at Netflix this morning, and the stocks, it's down $1, nothing crazy. I'm talking Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we're talking Johnson & Johnson, ticker JNJ. Stocks trading up a nickel this morning, but yesterday it broke that 145 level. That FDA offered, issued a complete response letter on one of its drugs. So when you get a CRL letter, it's never good. Honeywell, ticker HON, Henry Oscar Nancy. You look at the stock this morning, it's up 0.2%. Honeywell is considering a sale or a spinoff of its aerospace unit. Walmart, ticker WMT. They're collaborating with a firm to boost their China's e-commerce sales. It's kind of interesting. In terms of merger news, we're talking KOS, Cosmos. Cosmos Energy is scrapped in its bid for the London Tullow oil. Alibaba, ticker BABA, they expect a $1.28 billion loss on the sale of its department store in time. In terms of guidance news, Pfizer did come out. Pfizer came out and they backed their 2024 adjusted EPS view of 275 to 295. Street estimate has it as 293. So it's not great, but it's okay. In terms of shareholders meeting, LG and ticker A as an Apple, they're having an analyst day investors meeting today. It's supposed to start at 10 a.m. Ingersoll Rand, that's ticker IR, India Richard, they're holding a 2024 sustainability investors call this morning. That's interesting. In terms of buyback news, eBay, ticker EBAY, Elvis Boy, Apple Yellow, they authorized an additional $3 billion under its stock repurchasing plan. Ticker CENT, Charlie, Edward, Nancy, Tom, Central Garden and Pet. Their board authorized an additional $100 million of stocks repurchases following that increase that they came out with on December 11th. So the total number now is $130 million. Affirm Holdings, ticker AFRM, Apple, Frank, Richard, Mary, they plan to buy back $300 million worth of stock. That came out late last night, yes, as well. In terms of catalyst call, PRMB, Paul, Richard, Michael Boyd. This is Primco Brands. JP Morgan places the stock on a positive catalyst watch. SN, that's Shark Ninja. JP Morgan also puts Shark Ninja on a positive catalyst watch list. And that's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
I'm going with ticker BIRK, Bergenstock Holdings. Earnings tomorrow morning. EPS is 28 cents. Expected move is 10.17%. You look at yesterday's call volume, 7,449 calls versus 1,584 puts. Very positive. Open interest is, positive but flat, 11,457 to 11,170. But the last quarter, after the earnings report, CEO came out with his little commentary, and he said we remain confident in our ability to deliver in our medium to long-term objectives to mid to high-term revenue growth with gross profit margins of 60%. Yeah, I like it. If I can get in at 50, if I can get in around, under 56, I'm going to say, 55, 75 to 56, somewhere in that range. I should be able to make my gain. Market will be a little weaker, so I think there's an opportunity to kind of, wait for that opening price. But I do think it'll rally. I probably won't hold it into earnings. I don't think so, just because, he did mention the word long-term in that statement, and that always spooks me. But I do like Bergenstock Holdings today. That's ticker BIRK, Boy India Richard Kilo this morning, Emily.
Bill, looking for some traction in Bergenstock Holdings today. And coming up, we'll take a look back at yesterday's pick of the day. So stick with us through that. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, sending it back to you.
Okay, let me open this up here. NASDAQ NDAQ, welcome 171 IPOs in 2024. Zscaler, ticker ZS, announced Nokia is deploying Zscaler's Zero Trust Exchange platform. Victoria's Secret's VSCO selects Global E Online to advance its online operations. That's ticker GLBE, Grace Larry Boy Edward. McCormick, ticker MKC, they're said to be in talks to buy a Mayo and Saucer brand owner, Duke, is it? Looks like they're buying it from private equity group. Eli Lilly talks about getting regulatory approval for insulin manufactured in Egypt. Okay, what else we got here? On Semiconductor, ticker ON, Oscar Nancy, they're going to be collaborating with Denso on autonomous driving technology. S&Y, Sanofi, President-elect Trump says he's a big believer in the polio vaccine. They're a big maker of that vaccine. Bennett Dickinson, ticker BDX, agrees to pay the SEC $175 million for misleading investors about Alaris infusion pump. Chewy, ticker CHWY, Charlie Henry, William Yellow, they got added to the Bank of America U.S. focus list. That's positive. Apple, the Democratic Republic of Congo filed criminal complaints against Apple, giant subsidiaries in France and Belgium, accusing the tech firm of using conflicted minerals in its supply chain. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we sign off, dive into trading on this Tuesday, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day, which was Post Holdings. Now, this is, sort of following that wave of news about the possible takeover of Lamb Wesson. I did catch at least one price target raise on the stock this morning from Jefferies to $135. Bill, you were hoping for some weakness and get some momentum from there yesterday. How did your call work out?
I mean, it worked out. I mean, the stock rallied out of the gate. I mean, it opened up at 118.01, and then it ran all the way to 119.73, which was positive. And then, it did close lower at 116.40, but it had a nice little run there yesterday from 118 to 119.73. So you got to appreciate that 1% a rally. It was a little more than 1% during the morning. So Post Holdings, POST, Paul, Oscar, Sam, Tom was a winner yesterday, Emily.
We will take that 1%, and we will check on a few tomorrow about today's Birkenstock Holdings pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.